Welcome to the Daily Deadly Podcast. I don't know.
Is that your introduction? I thought this was going to be the
I'm
MVP Mutant Radio.
I'm
meets
multitasking.
TV.
I'm multitasking from Halloween Land. You can see me in the corner, right here. Everything's working though. Great.
What a horrible introduction. But what other way could there be to begin the MVP Mutant Radio, Mutant TV Halloween extravaganza?
Socially distanced Halloween extravaganza.
Socially distanced. And we have our masks on.
Damn
so
right.
Johnny Brento doesn't virally infect me over the internet.
Actually, that was in poor taste. I apologize.
Yes, so Halloween, Johnny Brento, is the stream up and going. Bear with us.
The stream is
viewers,
live. Absolutely,
faithful readers.
absolutely live from
Johnny
planet
Brento has the whole world in his hands.
from planet Fat Satan. There you go. Fat Satan planet. Planet Fat Satan. There we go. Cool. Actually, you know what I actually noticed? For some reason, Delilah was going crazy on my flashing lights, but I have my lights in the background now, and I can get a little more ambiance by turning off some of the lights.
We can't see your lights at all, buddy. We have... All right, what?
That's right, because it's green screen.
But you're bringing the podcast to a screeching halt as you talk about your lights, though, because we're supposed to be talking about Halloween and Halloween traditions.
I'm more beautiful now, no matter what you say. So there you go. In your face, Streebo.
I know, but the bad thing about these masks is we can't see your luscious beard. Your Andre the Giant meets Bigfoot beard. Yeah, there you go.
I'm like that
Very
episode
nice.
of $6 Million Man where Bigfoot and Bigfoot robot fights Steve Austin.
Played by Andre the Giant. Yes, that was my poor attempt to.
How was that segue? How was that segue for you? How's that?
That was a good segue.
Is that working for you?
So why don't we segue into Halloween traditions, because it's that time of year again, right? It's Halloween. People are wanting to get out and celebrate the season, even though we're all still basically shut inside and having to be careful. Like normally we'd probably be trying to pack ourselves into a theater to watch something. I don't even know what the major horror release would have been for this Halloween. I mean, at one point we were going to get the other two new Halloween films from the Halloween series, Halloween Kills and Halloween something else.
No, it's COVID Kills, and Halloween is a super spreader.
That would be a modern version of it. I'm looking forward to when we get all the horror films that are born of this era of social distance and super viruses and all that. Every day I want to make like a plague playlist, like with The Blob, 1986, The Thing, 1982, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's a good one. Any version of that, right? The 50s version and the 1970s version. Maybe not the 90s version so much. But that's definitely a big Halloween tradition, right? Always watching Halloween films. If you're like me and you're part of some kind of online horror community, you've probably seen the October 31 Days of Horror challenge. That's where people dedicate themselves to watching at least one horror film a day for the month of October. Have you ever done that? The October Halloween horror movie challenge?
Yeah, I tried it, but I'm not nearly as dedicated as you are on things like that. But I tried that in the past, and I always found it challenging. But my culture, I watch a ton of movies all the time.
Your culture.
It is my culture.
Yes,
yeah.
Tell us about your culture, Johnny Brento, please.
In my culture, we're all
share it with
one big family.
Ashes.
We're all one big family, and we're all down with being kind to each other, and that's my culture. No, seriously though, like I don't wait around for like Halloween to watch Halloween shows. I really thought about making a special watch this year because I was really interested in a trailer I saw for a film called Wolf of Snow Hollow. It was one of those instant releases, like now in theaters kind of a release to Vudu, which by the way, I have been killing it on Vudu since this whole thing started. It's like I was made for this. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to spend, if I want to spend $20, forget that popcorn and fattening drink. Instead, I can buy the freaking movie in HD, standard definition, everything they got for under $20. It's mine forever, right? With even all the extras, they've started putting the extras on there. So Wolf of Snow Hollow was badass. I'm going to be doing a separate review on that, or not me, but our friend Fat Satan will be doing a separate review on that, and it was really cool. But I've seen a lot of great things like that. Yeah, I have to look at my Voodoo list. That's a conversation for another time. But I encourage everybody to try to have the same fun that you would normally have if you, what was that we were reviewing for years? The anthology, the Halloween anthology with the little lollipop head guy. It's escaping.
Trick or Treat.
Is it Trick or Treat? Yeah, Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat, yeah.
I got to buy that on Vudu because I don't know where my Blu-ray disc is, but I typically watch that one. I love the Hot Werewolf chicks.
Beautiful Blu-ray.
The Hot Werewolf chicks are the shit. That little tattoo that says "Nil Disparandum" on the back of one of them, like that is actually my slogan for life. It's my motto: never despair. What's the point, right?
So you're saying you put her in the spank bank? Gotcha. But
that's your words, my friend. I'm married. I actually get to cuddle somebody every night, even in COVID times. So
that's true. Very true. Touche. The only cat I get to cuddle is my actual cat. But yeah.
That's the only pussy you're getting.
At present, yes.
Come here, Logan.
No, not that. At least female. I mean, come on. The guys are like, yeah, we're not cuddling.
Oh, look, I am erasing myself with a lightsaber. Sorry.
That's pretty cool.
I'm
okay, back on task now. You're killing the podcast, dude.
Okay, man.
Entertaining television, but multimedia, though.
Let's do live.
The podcast to a screeching halt because we were talking about the 31 Days of Horror. I actually haven't done it in several years, where I've watched one every single day. But, some people will do that to get into the spirit. I just try to watch maybe like one a week or whatever. But then, the other way is getting into just watching your actual perennial favorites, right?
Right.
Like our oldest, what's everybody's oldest, at least our generation, maybe not for generations to come, is always going to be what?
Halloween.
Even before that.
Oh, Night of the Living Dead.
Even before that.
What?
Let me give you a hint, Charlie Brown.
Oh, Charlie Brown's the Great Pumpkin. Charlie Brown. Gotcha. Sorry.
It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Yeah, that will be forever our first, Halloween fair. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Except for this year is the first year they're not playing the Peanut specials on television. I don't know if you've heard that or not. Now everything is moving over to streaming. So
has it offended
it's
someone?
Kind of breaking. No. It's just everything is going over to streaming.
Gotcha.
It's breaking. Seasonal viewing. Kids that are growing up today aren't going to have that same kind of psychological response to it. If you
100%
watch it all year round, it's not the same as watching it on Halloween.
I recently got DirecTV again because I was able to finally get internet at my house after all these years of waiting. And in the meantime, I had kind of switched over to that. Well, I'll watch things here at work or my office because I can stream here and whatnot, or I'll download and watch at home. But I recently got DirecTV, and I'll tell you what, my reaction to having to even fast forward through commercials was like, whoa, this is a different. I'm trying to catch up on seasons and seasons of Face Off, right? It's a different paradigm. I'm not sure kids are even going to know what commercials are in another 10 years, It's like the instant gratification, instant access. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, and commercials are both good and bad. I mean, for the most part over the years, they're pretty annoying, but then sometimes you get those that they're kind of catchy, kind of entertaining. They're their own form of entertainment, Like, I remember Rob Zombie did it probably 15 years ago. He did a commercial for like Clorox or something where it had some kind of Hills Have Eyes dude come shambling out of a grungy old house, and he's like stretching his laundry out on the wash rack. That's pretty funny. You know, he shot it like the, kind of a torture porn type movie. I hate that whole genre title, but I say that because that's what people call it anyway. Your head is like fading in and out from the effect. That's pretty cool. No, Brento, you're being assimilated into the Borg world around you. No. So definitely now the second Halloween traditional viewing that you named it right away, Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. Though we are at the point now where we're far enough away from the original that there are multiple versions of the film. It's almost like there are alternate timelines, like a Reed Richards Doctor Doom type thing. So it's like, which timeline do you want? The John Carpenter timeline or the Rob Zombie timeline or the new timeline?
Yeah, or you could kind of mix and match your own, because typically around Halloween, either AMC or Sci-Fi will stream like for example, all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. I mean, all of them, including Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Um, I did not see, actually though, all the Friday the 13th, including Freddy versus Jason, which is one of my favorites. Um, so you can pick your own. You can pick your own, and it would take you months to watch all that stuff if you really were going to try to do it. But I mean, pick your favorite.
Well, one of the things that I like to do every year is, instead of just watching one specific cut of John Carpenter's Halloween, I actually watch the fan edit version called Halloween to Hell and to Hell and Back. What the heck's it called? Well, whatever. You can see the picture of it on my Instagram.
I'm aware of it.
The whole bloody story of the night that he came home.
How long is that?
It's an edit of both the missing TV cut pieces, right, from Halloween and Halloween 2 and Halloween and Halloween 2. So it's like a 4-hour film, essentially, all put together.
I should try to watch that.
It's like the mega version to watch it. Yeah, it's not near as entertaining as like the trimmed down, just watching Halloween 1. But it is fun going through all of Halloween, right? You get to that intense ending. But if you're watching it as an unbroken film, instead of going into credits, then the music keeps playing, and then Halloween 2 starts, where the camera just kind of floats out to the ground and just starts looking around everywhere, and then they come back and he's gone, and there are people running around in Michael Myers outfits already and stuff, and you're like, wow, this is quick. So it's kind of interesting. It's fun to kind of phase into it. But that's part of my Halloween viewing. On Halloween, that's another tradition of mine. I like to do 24 hours of Halloween if I can get away with it. Now, normally that's only possible if it's on like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night kind of combo, right? Where you plan out 24 whole hours of horror. You're looking at us all so confused for some reason. It's breaking my concentration.
I'm trying to get my chroma key to work right, so I have half of a head.
Well, try to look more engaged for the live stream viewers. For all 1, 2, how many is it? Oh, we got about 15 people watching right now.
Oh, cool. Good. If I look at the stats, they're going to share on the stream, so I can't really look at the stats. You're the guy answering the chat and looking at the stats. Just FYI.
Yes. Okay. So first thing in the chat, what other Halloween traditions do you have? Okay. Well, one that we had in MVP, one that kind of first got us all together was what? Going to the haunted trails.
Yeah, try to shoot haunted trails for extra production value in whatever the hell we're shooting. And try to shoot yards full of Halloween decorations for whatever the hell we're trying to make. That is definitely a tradition for us.
Yeah, not so much the filming yards anymore, because nowadays people will definitely shoot you quicker, sooner rather than later. Like in 15 years ago, we could get away with it a little bit better. But going to haunted trails, right? I mean, the first time we actually got together, we weren't even filming anything. We had the chance to work on the haunted trail. We went the first time and filled in, right? And that was the Leatherface.
Honestly, that was a formative experience for me. I learned so much about horror. I learned that truly people will get so scared that they just run in place. We had a huge discussion about that one year. And
running in place. As part of Brento's doctoral thesis.
That was extremely fun. That was like
entitled "Running in Place."
We even looped in Brian Palmer, who almost never does anything with us, but we looped him in on that, and as a result, he ended up having a role. I don't want to call it a
I
cameo.
think he
It was
looped us in on it. Actually, he was with the Shriners, and he was doing it. And he told us about it, so we went.
Man,
And for whatever reason, you wound up being Leatherface, and then we just made up the rest.
have you seen me? Have you seen me? That's why I became Leatherface. Clearly,
You filled the part, and you had that weird kind of mop top thing going
I had
on at the
I had
time,
I had the
too.
poofy hair going on, short hair or medium length hair. I got punched in the face by a drunk chick. That was fun. You know,
And we came up with the whole Dr. Handy thing, and I decided the first night to be like this preacher from hell that was just telling everybody they're going to hell. People got really mad about that. I mean, I was just trying to kind of spook
George had the
them.
mega long hair. Turn back, ding, ding. Well, he had the Bible. That's probably what offended some people. This is the Bible Belt. You know, man, I'm waiting for that film, man. We got to make Dr. Handy, dude. Let me see you. Let me see your left hand. Let me see your hand. Whichever one he gives you. That's the hand of the. That's the hand of the past. I need to see the other hand. And then you get the other hand.
That's the hand. Yeah,
this is the hand of the future.
Let me see your other hand.
You ain't got no future. Get a boy.
Yeah, I'm sure we stole that from something. I have no idea.
That was brilliant, man. We scared the crap literally out of some people. I was so proud of that. We had people coming back through to do it again, and we would change it up. That was really fun. I remember little Summer. Summer, she's 26 now. Got her own kid. At the time, she was just kind of like 11 or so. I don't know, around there. And she just thought that was the coolest thing ever. She was taking her friends, and because she got in free, they kept going around and around and around. I've got one picture of her. She wanted a costume, so we put a little bit of blood on her forehead. It was really fun. The whole thing was great.
For people that weren't there, though, we have to describe the action because we just kind of described our reactions to it. So people would come through our little section of the trail, right? We had basically one scene, which was one of many. You know?
Walls created by trash, like black plastic, but it actually was a structure that sort of funneled you through from one attraction to the next. Little patches of, unbroken where you were just on the trail, but then when you come into the next presentation, it would be inside of whatever structure, multiple room structure made out of black plastic. So that's the best way I could describe it.
And it was up to you to do whatever with your particular section of the trail. So we were invited by our friend Brian to take part in it, and I think he was already kind of doing the Dr. Handy thing, but then we spiced up his dialogue. It might have been me that told him kind of what to say. Yeah,
you pretty much produced all the dialogue, and this, you kept harping on this, and really it's funny because this led into us making movies, but you were like, story is everything. It's just stupid if there's no story. And that was one of your favorite things to preach on, but you were right ultimately. But I always thought that was funny because that's the problem with most of them you go to. I remember a couple down, not to shit on those guys, but like their whole thing was like paintball guns shot at glass where people were standing. I'm like, is that scary? I don't know.
That's kind of weird, but yeah. I mean, who's going to be scared of that? There was a really good, not to get off tangent because we were describing ours, but there's a really good one over in Pinehurst, the Southern Pines area. It's a big warehouse.
The ones now that I'm seeing online, of course, I don't know how they're going to survive this year, but like they are major productions, like a carnival or something. I mean, like with dozens and dozens of actors and full makeup. I want to eventually go to one of those. I got to pick that right time when my granddaughter's the right age, and I see myself getting back into that when she's the right age to go and have fun. Not be terrified. Yeah, she's not even 2 yet, but
So yeah, she's got a few years to go, but yeah. So our little section, people walked in, and we had Brian in this like kind of pale Nosferatu looking makeup almost. I mean, he was just painted white for whatever reason, and then he had like mechanic overalls on, blue. And then we put him in a cage, so he would tell people to come up to the cage. But before they got to see him, and he's quote unquote Dr. Handy, right? They walked past the preacher out front, which was first me, and then I passed that over to George as the preacher, who's telling everybody, to come to walk in and just quoting stuff from Revelation and the end of the world and stuff like that. And
he had
calling everybody sinners. They got really offended by that.
He had this great bell until it broke. Dang,
yeah,
dang,
I was beating the heck out of that bell. Ding, 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 ding. It literally, the little clanger just went flying mid swing at one point. Ding! I was like, oh man, I broke it.
How many people? How many people are in the live room? Can you see?
Oh, it looks like it's about up to 55 now.
Holy
okay,
snapple!
Says, finish the story. Okay, let me get back to it. So, so anyway, for the people in chat and the 55 people watching, okay. Your expressions are the best.
Y'all don't realize we're excited. We're excited because 55 people. Holy shit, that's like the greatest podcast viewership ever. You know, settle down.
The greatest of all time. Let's see if we can get up to 100 by the end. Okay, so anyway, so call your friends, call your family. Right? MVP Mutant Radio, Mutant TV, Halloween extravaganza, live right here now. Not canceled by COVID. We're carrying on. This is a triumph of the human spirit, right? The spirit of the season as well, right? What season is that? The season of the witch. That was a horrible attempt to do Donovan. Yes, that's probably one of my favorite songs too, actually. Okay, so anyway, chat, finish the story again. All right, back to it. Brento, we got to focus here.
All right.
So they walk in, they see Dr. Handy behind bars. He calls him up. So the idea was we got audience participation. It was like wrestling, like theater almost, right? Because everybody's intimidated by it. First, they've already walked past the guy telling them that they're all sinners, that they're all going to hell. And then, Dr. Handy is like, yeah, let me read your future. And
he goes to the most, we told him to go to the most scared girl and try to get her to give the hand, because then everybody starts egging her on, and they're sort of caught up in the enjoyment of watching her be scared, right?
Yes, exactly. And then that's when he goes into his whole spiel. It doesn't matter what hand that they give him. He says, no, that's not the hand I want to see. That's the hand you're born with. That's the hand of your past. I want to see your other hand, the hand of your future. And then he looks at it and he says, oh, look at this. It says, you ain't got no future.
And then he won't let the hand go.
Yeah, he won't let go. So she's yelling and screaming, right? And he's holding on to it. And then he goes, get him, boys. And that was Brento's cue as Leatherface to become Leatherface, where he had to
in the meantime, it's a dark chamber that they're in, but it's big enough that I can slip in behind them, and I am literally standing behind them like 2 feet away. They're all looking straight forward where the only light's at, looking through the bars, looking at Dr. Handy and all the mannequins and stuff in there. And when he says, get 'em, boy, I pull that chainsaw, it fires on the first fire, and all hell breaks loose. They don't care where the exit is at. They are going through some black plastic.
Yes, it is not for the sensory challenged comrades amongst us. That's for certain.
Point of privilege.
Yes. But the starting of that chainsaw was the key to the whole thing. So you have this whole setup that starts at the beginning with the preacher telling them, setting the creepy mood. Then you have the whole experience and interaction with Dr. Handy. And then you have the jump scare of the chainsaw. It's all set up. You can just as easily have, 10 people with chainsaws run out. It's not quite the same, but, you get the drift. So the whole thing was an exercise in storytelling and how do you build fear in people, and also, creating audience interaction. How do we get those responses that we want?
So the word spread that we had this really good booth, and I know it sounds like we're making this up, but we're not. People actually went through and bought tickets again to come through, knowing what was going to happen, and we would kind of like get word, hey, this group went through before, and we had set up a switch up basically, so that they would not get what they got. The experience would be different this time. It would start out like the same, so they would think, oh, he's going to, the saw's coming from behind us, and we had a thing set up where, on these alternate groups, there was a place to the left of where Dr. Handy would be, and I would be standing behind that, like in parallel to Dr. Handy, but there was a slit in the plastic they didn't know about. And this time, when they would say, get 'em, boy, strobe lights would come on, a fan would hit them in the face, and I would come straight out the side in the front, and they would lose their shit. Whoa! had one 15-year-old kid ran over and grabbed a tree, would not let it go, had to stop everything, turn the lights on, and bring his dad in to walk his ass out. Now, if you think that ain't an effective scare, I don't get scared like that anymore. I mean, I wish I did.
And also, what else? The running in place, right?
Usually that's girls that can't process when they realize there's nowhere to go. They will be like in a group of 3 girls, and they cluster up, and for whatever reason, they all grab the scaredest one, and she's like going regardless, right? They would try to run, and they'd all fall down, or you get the running in place. I can't figure out because it's dark. You can't see. There's no exit signs in our booth. You know what I mean? Like, so they know it's generally to the left, but they can't see it because it's like there's an ante room on both sides that's got black plastic as well. So yeah, they would run in place at times. Did have one drunk lady to hit me with like a right hook. Fortunately, the mask kind of took most of it. Hey, I'm just glad she didn't kick me in the groin. That I could take. So you'd have a couple guys that would bow up, like I'm with my girlfriend, I got to be macho, right? And it's funny because it's what you can't see that's most terrifying. You can't see the blade on the slot. There is no chainsaw blade. You know this. Your logical mind knows this. Dudes try to act macho. You just take that and try to touch them on the inside of their thigh. You don't actually have to touch them. You just move in that direction, that general direction. They hear a chainsaw, they see the motion, and you're going toward their jewels, and they are out of there, man. Tough guy over.
Exactamundo. Yep.
That was a good time, though.
That was a good time. Well, unfortunately, it looks like I'm having some recording issues over here on the MP3 side.
Don't do that.
Yep, so that's not good.
Any questions from the chat?
Yes, questions from the chat. What other Halloween traditions do you have? Okay, so we talked about going to haunts. What else?
Lots of times we've been filming, on Halloween, trying to take advantage of seasonal decorations.
Filming, yes.
Lots of times we try to. Another tradition we have, honestly, it is a tradition. The day after Halloween, we go and buy all the cheap Halloween shit for making scenes that are set in Halloween months and months later. Another reason.
Yes, also, it's a great way to get cheap blood, right?
Oh, yeah. Makeup, grease paint for zombies, yes. Those Bubba teeth, yes. All that stuff. Also, Halloween, for whatever reason, we have found that. Oh, that looks cool when I do my hand like that really slowly. It's phasing out. I'm the Hollow Man. We found that like getting actors enthusiastic about doing horror-related projects pretty much around Halloween, around October, it's a whole lot easier to get those folks involved. So that would be a tradition of ours as well. It's really hard to crystallize Halloween. I had that 1 or 2 perfect Halloween experiences as a kid, trick-or-treating. As an adult, it's like really more about like the haunted. We've shot in the aftermath of several haunted houses, or at least scouted locations to shoot in some pretty epic haunted factories, haunted mills, if you will.
Yeah, so, we have filmed in several different haunted trail locations. Like we filmed in that one in 2005 too, and we did that Numbers Killer murder scene, right, where the little kid got killed.
That was super fun, and it actually turned out looking good. I guess if enough people watch See for Chaos, maybe someday that episode will come out.
I thought that episode was out.
Dude, come on, man. You're killing the lead. I'm trying to get more people to go watch it. It's a playlist, yo. We made a 6-hour horror film, guys, and we decided to turn it into a sequential release on YouTube because it was right at the time the HD was coming about, and unfortunately we had shot in 4:3 aspect ratio, standard definition. We shot it on a couple of Panasonic potatoes.
Yeah, it was just a ton of
Yeah, that was our film school, but yeah. So the deal is we don't release another one until we got at least 50 views, and then a couple times sometimes we get good views right off. Other times it would just kind of like people would forget about it, and I'd be like, hey man, I just spent 2 hours doing this. I ain't doing this if nobody's watching,
Yeah, know the feeling. That was definitely one of our MVP traditions, was going and filming See for Chaos every Halloween.
6 years.
There was always a lot of.
Was it 5 years actually shooting or 6?
It was 3 years filming, and then
6 sounds way more impressive. Yeah. So 3 years
about
filming.
3 years in post before we decided to turn it into a web series. few more years later down the road. But yeah, yeah, it's fun. As a kid, Halloween you always look forward to because you put on your costumes and you went out trick or treating. And one thing for me too is it was kind of a night of bold independence. It was one of those nights where you eventually got to a point where you were old enough you could go trick or treating without your parents, and you would go with your friends. I mean, if you lived in an area that had, where you had friends nearby and you had neighborhoods you could go to, like when I was growing up in Mississippi, that was one thing we did was we would hit neighborhoods, and there were clusters of neighborhoods. So it was great. So we could do our whole neighborhood, and then we'd plot it out, and then we'd say, okay, well, we'll go over and hit this neighborhood, and we'll go over and hit them. And then we'll say, okay, well, we're going to go across town. And you go to another neighborhood, half a mile away or whatever. And then you end up coming home at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. You just ass dragging. You have a whole bag full of candy, and you're just like, this is the greatest thing ever. Those nights were also when I was first introduced to a lot of classic horror films, because you'll go around, trick or treating, and a lot of places you'll be invited just to step inside, into the foyer or whatever, or it might open up into the living room. And people will be in there watching TV, usually something cool on HBO. I remember walking in on Halloween 3, The Shining, and it was always at the absolute worst parts of those films, like when somebody's getting killed, vivisected, chased, it's something horrific. And I've talked about this a few times before, but yeah, that was always my first introduction to a lot of horror films, because my family didn't want me watching them, and they didn't have HBO or anything like that. And if you wanted to rent a movie, you had to get it on video cassette, and usually, your folks had to be the ones to get it, unless you had a friend
A
who
JB
did not care,
or a JB Videos, a chain in your town, because they would definitely rent to us. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that did not care. Yeah. For me, the only way I could get away with it was when we went to visit my family in Virginia, because my uncle, who was a total hustler, he actually owned a gas station that had a video store in it, and that was the one time I could get all the movies that I could never rent anywhere else. I
Wow.
could go and grab all the Friday 13th and the Road Warrior and all that stuff. Then just stay up for like 3 days straight, just making sure I could watch them all.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember doing that. Like when I was, I came back from the army and I wasn't sure what I was gonna do, and I would go and just rent, because it was like, I mean, at one point Blockbuster had like $1 per movie deal if you were a member, and man, I would go get like 15 of them and just like shotgun them over a weekend and stuff, and catch up on everything that I always wanted to rent but really never made the cut or whatever. Interesting times, man. I fear that young kids are not going to have that experience because of the whole instant access thing we have going on right now. But it was a golden time, man, for Halloween and horror fun in general.
Yeah, right on, Brento. All right, so the chat says, what other Halloween traditions do you have in the area?
Well,
One thing we like to do near you is go down to the Baden Road Drive-In Theater, which is still open even here in the times of
right
COVID.
on,
Right, Brento?
right on. Yeah, they just showed Army of Darkness a couple of weeks back. I'm sure they have something. I have to look it up here. It's their website has changed. Let me see if I can find it. It was Baden Road Drive, and I think they got locked out of that. So now it's. Let me Google it real quick, and I'll see if I can find out what they're actually showing for Halloween. But that's a great one. If you haven't experienced the drive-in recently, I mean, like that might become the new norm actually, and they're cool. They're really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love the drive-ins, and I've been meaning to get over to the Baden Road Drive-In.
I feel like we could go.
Catch some of their features.
We could go and make a nice video, of that whole thing at some point.
We probably could. I mean, going to the drive-in was never a huge yearly thing for me around here. I mean, as a kid, I remember going to see some fun movies in my really early years, because I mean, the drive-ins died out pretty quickly. In my youth, it was kind of, we came in the time after drive-ins. I mean, this one in Baden has been around forever, but I mean, there was more of a proliferation of drive-ins. In the 50s and 60s and 70s, they started to close down in the early 70s. So yes, I don't have a lot of memories of that, though. Again, this is one of our, our adult reliving of Halloween. We find these new experiences. One is in going to conventions, or we're doing this filmmaking stuff. Um, so the my most fond drive-in memories are from going to the conventions in Kentucky, going to the Friday Night Film Fest and the Fandom Fest and whatnot, and then always going over to the drive-in up there and seeing their great double features and triple features and stuff. That's where we met Roger Corman, and Fonzie was out there one year and everything. I mean, we just had a good time there.
Unfortunately, they have closed for the season, Strebo.
Have they really? Did they just close? Because they were
They,
playing.
they just did. Yeah, they just did. This is the time they close. And I think they need to push that because it's not that cool around here yet. I would definitely push that out past Halloween. Man, that's what what an opportunity they missed there.
At least past Halloween. I mean, they could definitely still play some films, but I mean,
Well, when we were little,
have a big turnout.
Back when we were little, it was cold this time of year. It's not now so much.
Yeah.
I will say that there's a really good haunted schoolhouse attraction nearby up in the Meisenheimer area near Pfeiffer on 52 North past Albemarle. That's a good one to go to. There's always a bunch of haunted trails, various haunted trails around this area, just because it sort of lends itself to it. Very wooded here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the functioning status is on the Haunted Mill from our friends that run Mad Monster with us. I imagine they're trying to do something. They were doing escape rooms and all that kind of stuff. They had expanded into a few different areas and whatnot. But that might be worth looking into. Their website is easy to find, though. It's the Haunted Mill. Other Charlotte activities would be the Back Alley Film Series is doing virtual screening rooms right now. For instance, they're screening Hosts online. HOSTS, the name of the actual film.
I was just thinking about Eastgate Cinemas is open now, and I tell you, I've went once since it's opened back up, and it was truly socially distanced, as I was the only human being inside of the theater to watch Tenet. I don't know how Halloween, if they'll address Halloween specifically, probably not. Just whatever comes out, comes out. I still think Voodoo is your best bet for your new normal Halloween tradition, but I'll be definitely watching Trick or Treat. I've got a friend visiting, and I think we'll probably watch Trick or Treat. I think I might be taking our buddy Fat Satan cruising right through a contest, a Halloween contest. I'm not going to eat there or anything like that, but Harmanco's is having a Halloween party / contest, which means come buy a bunch of alcohol. So I'm definitely not going to hang out there, but I might walk through as Fat Satan.
You're going to watch other people buy alcohol.
Well, cool. Like I said, I'm going to walk through
cool.
as Fat Satan. I need a cameraman, Strebo, so you could actually come and stream it for Mutant TV.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Come on, man! You can put your
bringing up them COVID numbers.
You can put
right now.
You can put your you can put your hazmat suit on.
I need. That's what I need to be. I'll be the guy from Back to the Future where he's wearing the hazmat suit.
Never go to 2020, Marty.
Exactly. Other things going on. Our friends at the Carolina Theater of Durham have been hosting online screenings, and they've also opened for some retro screenings. Like they played Ghostbusters just tonight at the time of this recording, and they're doing some other retro screenings. I think they're playing Evil Dead and maybe Army of Darkness. So definitely check out the stuff that they have going on. You can find those guys at Carolina Theater Durham on Facebook, and also at carolinatheater.org online. So yeah, we always have a lot of love for all the theaters that have helped us out over the years and played host to various screenings from whether it be local independent filmmakers or just great films in general. Like Carolina Theater is fun to us because they brought in they had those early screenings of both Diary of the Dead and then Survival of the Dead, right?
Yeah, and that was awesome. And we opened up, we got to show short films before some of those, right?
Yes, it was before Survival.
Yeah.
for survival.
And they also screened "Take That, You Blood-Sucking Vampire." I'll burn your heart in the bright fire.
Yes, that was during the Nevermore Film Festival. Yes, but we're talking about individual screenings. But yes, but that was at the building.
Hey, so is there an official email address for Mutant TV, Streebo?
I don't know. I mean, it used to be Mutantville at hotmail.com, but we can't ever seem to get into that email. So I wouldn't suggest contacting anyone at that.
So maybe your email for now, because I think the folks in the chat could be sending us some stuff if they're interested in this format where we share like a live video.
Oh yeah, sure.
Live video and interactive aspect.
Yeah, Mutantville at Gmail. Then I mean that's us. Mutantville at gmail.com.
Yeah, if you have questions for future streams, we'll probably start doing this. At least through the season of COVID, we'll sort of make these a little more interactive and let you guys get in on them.
Because we have other things going on, right? We are in pre-production for our next short film. We've been looking through our collection of scripts and trying to find a film that we think we can produce safely and shoot safely during this time. And we found one that's got a lot of green screen work in it and a lot of other things going on in it too. Like we've got to produce a lot of different aspects of it. But yeah, I think it's one we can pull off. So we're going to be working on that. So we're excited about that. We're excited to get people excited about that. So thanks for watching this stream. Thanks for listening on MVP Mutant Radio. Thanks for hosting the stream for us, Johnny Brento.
You got it.
And
remember,
for all of our little mutants out there, keep the faith. That's right. We're all in this together.
Retsu!
Don't let it bring you down. We're all fighting the same battle. We're right here with you. Keep the faith. Keep doing what you love. Keep being you. Don't let the bad guys win.
That's right.
That's what we say. But anyway, have a safe and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.